Sometimes, a story doesn't end when a character leaves, it begins again in the hearts they've touched. Heartland Season 20 opens like a soft sunrise after a long storm, carrying with it whispers of healing, love, and something fans never expected: the echo of Ty's presence returning to Amy's life. The ranch that once felt too quiet now feels alive again, filled with both the ache of memory and the warmth of new beginnings. It's a season that dares to ask, can love ever truly fade, or does it just change shape? The season begins with Amy standing alone in the pasture, the golden fields stretching endlessly around her. There's peace, but also loneliness. She's stronger now, more independent, but the silence carries Ty's absence in every breeze. Heartland has always been more than a place, it's been a symbol of connection. And Season 20 captures that feeling right from the start. Amy has learned to carry her pain quietly, pouring it into her work with the horses, using every rescue, every training session, as a way to mend herself piece by piece. But beneath her calm surface, there's something stirring, a sense that the past isn't done speaking to her yet. At first, it's just small things: a familiar song playing on the radio, a dream that feels too real, a letter that shows up with handwriting that looks just like Ty's. These little moments start to build an invisible bridge between what was lost and what might still be waiting. The show doesn't rush to reveal the truth, it lets the emotion breathe, giving fans time to feel every bit of Amy's confusion and quiet hope. Life on the ranch goes on, as it always has. Jack still starts his mornings early, reminding everyone that life is meant to keep moving no matter what it takes from you. Lou juggles her duties as mayor and mother, trying to hold her family together. Tim continues to wrestle with his past mistakes while learning to embrace the peace he once ran from. And through it all, Amy remains the heart of it, the calm center in the middle of everyone's storm. But this time, something about her is different. She's not just surviving anymore. She's beginning to open her heart again to life, to love, and maybe even to the possibility that some bonds never really break. Heartland Season 20 doesn't start with loud drama or shocking twists. It begins quietly, with feelings that grow like seeds planted deep in the soil. It's about finding strength in small moments: the laughter of a child, the sound of hooves in the distance, the soft memories that visit you when you least expect them. And in those moments, Amy starts to sense it. Ty's spirit isn't gone. It's everywhere: in Lyndy's smile, in the way the horses trust her, and in the courage she finds to face each new day. This section sets the tone for the entire season: gentle, emotional, and deeply human. It's a reminder that grief doesn't just disappear, it transforms. Amy's story in Heartland Season 20 is about more than moving on. It's about moving forward with love, still guiding her, even if it comes from beyond what the eye can see. As she begins this new chapter, there's a promise in the air, a feeling that something extraordinary is just about to happen. And it all begins right here, on the land that has seen heartbreak, healing, and now, hope reborn. Before the light of Season 20, there was darkness, a silence that hung over Heartland like a heavy fog. Ty's passing was not just a storyline. It was a wound that cut deep into the hearts of both the characters and the fans who had grown up with him. His loss left a quiet emptiness in every corner of the ranch, an ache that time couldn't easily mend. Amy, once full of life and laughter, carried a weight that few could understand. Her world had shifted from shared dreams to solo strength, from laughter-filled mornings to quiet evenings by the fire, where only memories kept her company. Ty was more than Amy's partner, he was her mirror, her balance, her safe place. Together, they had built a life rooted in compassion and courage. A life defined by the animals they healed and the people they touched. Losing him meant losing a part of herself. But Heartland, as it always does, became the silent witness to her transformation. Instead of collapsing, Amy turned her pain into purpose. Every time she helped a frightened horse or guided someone through their own struggle, she was healing herself too quietly, gently, and with a kind of grace that made her stronger than ever before. Season 19 ended with Amy taking a brave step forward. She learned to find joy again in small things: Lyndy's giggles, the feel of a horse's heartbeat, the warmth of family dinners. It wasn't about forgetting Ty. It was about learning how to live in a world that still carried his love in invisible ways. But deep down, fans could feel it. Her story wasn't complete. There was a lingering sense that something, or someone, was still missing. And in true Heartland fashion, it wasn't the end of the road. It was the beginning of a new one. Around her, everyone else was changing too. Lou had stepped into a leadership role that tested her patience and her heart. As mayor, she faced tough choices, often torn between duty and family. Her relationship with Peter continued to sway between old affection and new distance. Two people who loved each other deeply but kept missing the right moment to reconnect. Meanwhile, Tim, the ever-stubborn patriarch, was on his own journey of redemption. The man who had once been lost in his own regrets now tried to guide others, though his rough edges still showed through. His marriage to Jessica added a surprising calmness to his life, showing that even the most restless souls can find peace if they're willing to face their past. And then there was Jack, the quiet anchor of Heartland. His wisdom, his patience, and his love for his family never wavered. He had seen generations come and go, triumphs and heartbreaks unfold on that same stretch of land. To him, the ranch wasn't just home, it was history, a place where every sunrise carried a story. Through Amy's grief, he became her pillar, reminding her that love doesn't die, it simply changes form. Jack's words often carried more truth than anyone realized, and they would soon echo deeply as new mysteries began to unfold. By the time season 20 begins, Heartland feels different, older, wiser, and somehow softer. It's no longer just a story about a ranch. It's a story about healing through connection. Amy's bond with her daughter Lyndy grows beautifully. Lyndy reminds her of Ty, not just in looks, but in the way she cares for animals, the way she sees the world with quiet wonder. She becomes Amy's reason to keep going, her little piece of hope that keeps the fire burning even on the coldest days. But Heartland has always been a place of unexpected turns, and whispers of something extraordinary begin to stir as the season unfolds. A stranger's arrival, a familiar name mentioned, a shadow that feels too real to ignore. All of it leads Amy back to the one person she thought she had lost forever. Whether it's fate, faith, or the magic of Heartland itself, something is bringing Ty back into the picture, not to undo the past, but to help Amy move toward her future. This is where the new journey begins. The ranch, once marked by sorrow, starts to hum again with life and possibility. It's the calm before the storm, a moment where everything feels just a bit too still, as if the universe is holding its breath. Amy doesn't know it yet, but she's standing on the edge of something life-changing. The pain that once broke her is about to guide her to something deeper, a rediscovery of love, of purpose, and of the truth that no goodbye is ever truly final. The new season begins with light breaking through the clouds, not just over the ranch, but over the hearts that call it home. Heartland, season 20 feels like a rebirth, quiet, deliberate, and full of small miracles. The camera lingers on the familiar hills, the old barn, and the horses grazing peacefully. But something feels different this time. It's as if the land itself knows change is coming. There's an energy in the air, gentle, hopeful, and deeply human. For Amy, this is the season where she finally learns that healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning how to breathe again, even when the air still tastes of memory. The first few episodes move with a calm rhythm, giving space for reflection. Amy continues her work with horses, but her approach feels different now, softer, wiser, touched by experience. She's no longer just training animals, she's connecting souls. Each horse she heals mirrors a part of her own story. One particularly broken horse becomes a symbol of her grief, wild, untamed, afraid to trust again. Through patience and kindness, Amy helps it find peace, and in doing so, begins to heal her own heart. It's these small, wordless moments that remind fans why Heartland stands apart. It's never been about grand gestures, but about the quiet ways people mend what's been broken. Meanwhile, life around the ranch continues to evolve. Lou faces new challenges as mayor, struggling to balance her responsibilities with her personal life. The town expects perfection, but Lou has always been more heart than strategy, and that sometimes leads her into trouble. Her relationship with Peter remains fragile, yet hopeful, a dance between past and present. They're both learning what it means to love someone in a new way, not out of habit, but out of choice. Their story, though quieter, adds depth to the season's theme. Love doesn't always return the way you expect, but when it does, it's worth the wait. Tim and Jessica, too, bring warmth and humor to the season. For once, Tim seems settled, not entirely changed, but more grounded. He finds joy in the simple things, like helping on the ranch, mentoring young riders, or just spending time with family. There's a softness to him now that fans haven't seen before. Jessica complements him perfectly, bringing balance to his impulsive nature. Together, they show that even those with messy pasts can find peace if they're willing to grow. Their story runs parallel to Amy's, both proving that healing is not about erasing pain, but learning to live beautifully beside it. And then, slowly, whispers of Ty begin to surface again. At first, they come as dreams, vivid, emotional visions that feel more real than memories. Amy wakes from them in tears, unsure if her heart is playing tricks on her or if something beyond this world is trying to reach her. She finds small signs around the ranch. A tool Ty once used, left in perfect condition. A place they once stood together feeling strangely alive. A letter that had gone missing years ago, suddenly found tucked in a drawer. These are not coincidences. They are reminders that some connections are too powerful to be broken by time or death. Jack notices Amy's change before anyone else. He's quiet about it, but he sees the light returning to her eyes. He doesn't question the signs or the dreams. He's lived long enough to know that life has mysteries. You don't need to explain. His advice to Amy is simple, yet profound. When your heart feels something that your mind can't understand, that's usually where the truth lives. Those words stay with her, guiding her through the uncertainty of what's to come. As the episodes unfold, a new visitor arrives at Heartland, someone connected to Ty's past. They bring with them pieces of a story Amy never knew, opening old wounds but also offering unexpected closure. Through them, Amy learns that Ty's legacy didn't end with his passing. The lives he touched, the people he helped, all carry pieces of his spirit forward. His presence isn't haunting her, it's leading her toward a deeper understanding of love and purpose. By mid-season, Heartland begins to shimmer with a quiet magic. The family draws closer, the ranch flourishes, and the once muted tones of grief start to blend with colors of hope. Amy begins to smile again, genuinely, freely. She finds strength not in forgetting Ty, but in honoring him by living fully. Every moment spent with Lyndy feels like a conversation with him, a continuation of the love they built together. Season 20, at its heart, is about rediscovery. It's about Amy realizing that she isn't just the woman who lost Ty. She's the woman who carries his love in every act of kindness, every healed horse, every lesson taught to her daughter. The pain that once weighed her down becomes the soil where new joy begins to grow. And as the sun sets over the ranch, glowing with that familiar golden light, it feels like Ty's spirit is right there, not gone, not forgotten, but part of everything Heartland has become. Sometimes, love finds a way back, not through miracles or magic, but through the quiet pull of the heart. Season 20 reaches its turning point with a whisper, not a shout. Amy begins to feel it before she ever sees it, a strange calm in the air, a familiar warmth that she can't explain. It starts one evening when the sky burns orange over Heartland and the world seems to hold its breath. Lyndy runs across the yard laughing, and for a fleeting second, Amy swears she hears another laugh join hers, one that used to fill these fields years ago. It's not just memory, it's something more, something alive. Over the next few episodes, subtle hints begin to appear. A photo Amy thought she'd lost turns up perfectly clean, untouched by time. The wild horse she's been working with suddenly responds to her voice the same way Ty's horses used to calm. Trusting, as if recognizing a presence beside her. Jack notices it too, the change in Amy's energy, the softness returning to her voice. Maybe he's still watching over you, he says quietly. And Amy smiles through her tears because deep down, she already knows he is. Then comes the letter. It's found by accident, tucked inside one of Ty's old notebooks, hidden between faded pages full of his sketches and notes. It's dated months before his passing, written in his familiar handwriting. The letter isn't a goodbye, it's a promise. In it, Ty speaks of the future he dreamed for them, of Amy's strength, of Lyndy's laughter, of the ranch he believed would keep their love alive long after he was gone. Reading his words is like hearing his voice again, steady and kind. Amy breaks down completely, but her tears aren't just sorrow anymore, they're release. It's as if Ty himself reached through time to remind her that she was never alone, and never will be. The turning point of the season comes when Amy begins to dream vividly, not the kind of dream that fades with morning light, but one that feels real, almost tangible. She finds herself walking across the pasture under a silver moon. And there he is, Ty, standing near the old barn, smiling that quiet smile she's never forgotten. He doesn't speak, but his eyes say everything. In that dream, they don't talk about the past or the pain. They simply stand together, as they always used to, surrounded by the soft sounds of the night and the smell of the land they loved. When Amy wakes, she isn't scared or sad, she feels peace. For the first time in years, her heart feels whole. But Heartland doesn't leave Ty's comeback as just a dream. The next morning, Amy receives unexpected news. A man from Ty's old veterinary circle reaches out, bringing something Ty left behind, a project he'd been working on, a treatment plan for injured horses that he never got to finish. This discovery becomes the bridge between past and present. Amy decides to complete what Ty started. She gathers the family, and together they work to bring his dream to life. It's not his physical return, it's something far more powerful. It's his spirit, alive through the people he loved most. As Amy completes the final stages of Ty's work, it feels like he's there beside her, not as a ghost, but as a guiding presence. The show handles it with tenderness, never cheapening the moment. Ty's comeback isn't about rewriting the past or undoing his death. It's about celebrating how deeply he lived, and how his love continues to shape those he left behind. When Amy rides her horse across the open field at sunset, the wind rushing past her, you can almost see him riding beside her, the same old rhythm, the same old peace. By the season's final act, Amy has transformed. The pain that once held her down becomes her strength. She no longer feels haunted by Ty's absence. She feels guided by his presence. His return isn't something that can be seen, it's something that can be felt, in the laughter of their daughter, in the warmth of the ranch, in every sunrise that paints the sky gold. The family gathers for one last dinner of the season, laughter echoing through the house, and for a brief, beautiful moment, the camera lingers on an empty chair at the table. The wind rustles through the window, a picture frame shifts slightly, and a soft smile crosses Amy's face. She doesn't need to turn around to know he's there. Heartland. Season 20 doesn't bring Ty back in the way fans once imagined. It brings him back in the only way that truly matters, through love, memory, and legacy. It's a reminder that some people never really leave us. They live in the spaces between our breaths, in the quiet strength that pushes us forward, and in the stories we continue to write even after goodbye. By the time Heartland Season 20 reaches its final stretch, Amy Fleming has quietly transformed into someone both familiar and new. The pain that once defined her is no longer her story, it's just a chapter she's learned to read without breaking. What makes her journey so powerful isn't that she moves on from Ty, it's that she learns to move forward with him, carrying his love in ways that feel as real as the land beneath her boots. Her growth this season isn't loud or dramatic, it's slow, organic, and deeply human. Like the steady rhythm of hooves on an old dirt road, Amy begins to find herself again in the simplest moments. Morning rides across the ranch become her therapy, the open sky her quiet counselor. The world feels alive again, but this time she notices every detail: the smell of rain before a storm, the sound of Lyndy's laughter echoing through the yard, the softness in the horse's eyes when she approaches them. Every little thing reminds her that life goes on, not out of obligation, but because that's what love wants, for us to keep living. In those quiet, wordless scenes, Heartland reminds us why Amy has always been its emotional center. She doesn't run from her feelings, she listens to them. Her bond with Lyndy deepens in this season in a way that feels almost spiritual. Lyndy, still young but full of understanding, begins asking questions about her father, who he was, how he loved, what made him special. Amy doesn't shy away. She tells her daughter stories of Ty's strength, his kindness, his belief that every creature deserves a second chance. Through those stories, Amy isn't just keeping Ty's memory alive, she's passing down his heart. Every bedtime tale becomes a lesson in courage and compassion. Lyndy grows up knowing her father not as a tragic loss, but as a lasting light, someone who may be gone from sight but never from soul. One of the season's most emotional moments comes when Amy helps a young horse trainer who's struggling with fear after an accident. The girl reminds Amy of herself years ago, full of passion but haunted by loss. Instead of offering advice, Amy shares her own story. She opens up about pain, about losing Ty, about how healing doesn't mean forgetting. Her words are calm, but they carry the weight of everything she's endured. The ones we love never really leave us, she says softly. They stay with us in the choices we make, in the way we treat others, and in the courage it takes to keep going. It's one of the most moving scenes in the season, a moment that captures the soul of Heartland in a single line. As Amy steps deeper into her purpose, she begins expanding her horse therapy program. Her work takes her beyond the ranch, into schools, community centers, and rescue organizations. Each place she visits becomes a reminder of the impact Ty had on her life. His dream of helping animals continues through her, and it's clear that she's no longer just fulfilling his legacy, she's creating her own. The camera often lingers on her face in these scenes, catching quiet smiles and distant glances that say more than words ever could. It's as if she's finally at peace, finally able to live without the constant ache of what was lost. But even in healing, Heartland stays honest. The show doesn't pretend that grief disappears, it shows how it changes shape. There are still moments when Amy pauses, lost in thought, staring out across the fields where she and Ty once rode side by side. The difference now is that the sadness doesn't consume her, it comforts her. The memories that once made her cry now make her smile. She's learned to love her past without being trapped by it, and that, more than anything, is her greatest victory. By the end of the season, Amy feels whole again. Not the same as before, perhaps even stronger. Her heart carries both the weight of her love and the light of her hope. The final scenes capture her riding through the golden fields with Lyndy by her side, the wind dancing in their hair. The sky glows softly, as if Ty himself painted it for them. There's no dialogue, no narration, just silence, peace, and a faint echo of laughter that feels eternal. Amy's journey in Heartland. Season 20 isn't about finding Ty, it's about finding herself. It's about realizing that love isn't a chain that binds us to the past. It's a bridge that carries us into the future. Her story is proof that even when life takes everything from you, there's still something left, the will to keep loving, to keep believing, and to keep moving forward. And as the sun sets on another season at Heartland, the message becomes clear. Healing doesn't erase the pain, it transforms it. Amy's story shows us that even after goodbye, love still finds a way to stay. It lingers in the air, it moves through the wind, and if you listen closely enough, you can still hear it, the heartbeat of Heartland. Steady and eternal. Heartland has never been just Amy's story. It's the story of a family that keeps finding ways to hold each other up when life knocks them down. Season 20 proves that healing isn't a single person's journey. It's something that ripples through everyone connected by love, loyalty, and shared history. Each character, Lou, Tim, Jack, Georgie, and even the newcomers, walks their own path toward understanding what home truly means. Lou's story this season is one of balance, a constant tug-of-war between her heart and her ambition. As mayor, she's faced with choices that test her patience, compassion, and leadership. She's always been the one to take charge, to fix things. But Season 20 challenges her to slow down and listen, not just to others, but to herself. The weight of responsibility often makes her forget that she's still a woman with dreams beyond titles and town hall meetings. Her relationship with Peter continues to be a quiet heartbeat beneath the chaos. They've been through distance, disagreements, and missed chances, but this season feels different. There's maturity now, a sense that both have learned from the storms they weathered. They're not trying to recreate the past, they're trying to build something new from it. Their moments together are tender, filled with soft smiles, unfinished sentences, and the kind of comfort that only comes when you've loved someone long enough to see all their flaws and still stay. Then there's Tim, once the family's most unpredictable soul, now a man learning what peace feels like. His journey in Season 20 is about acceptance of who he's been, of the mistakes that shaped him, and of the love he almost pushed away. With Jessica by his side, Tim finds something rare: stability. She doesn't try to change him, she grounds him. Their relationship isn't perfect, but it's real. Together, they bring humor and warmth to the season, often reminding viewers that even those with the roughest edges can find gentleness when they stop running from themselves. There's a moment, midway through the season, where Tim looks across the ranch and admits, "I never thought I'd still be here, not just alive, but here." It's simple, yet powerful, a line that captures the quiet redemption at the heart of his story. Jack, as always, remains the soul of Heartland, the silent strength that holds the family together. At his age, he's seen everything: love, loss, change, and rebirth. Yet, he never stops learning. Season 20 gives him a few of the most emotional scenes, moments where his wisdom carries more weight than ever. He reminds everyone that life doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you need to grow. His bond with Amy deepens further this season. In her eyes, he sees Marion's spirit, and in Amy's strength, he sees the proof that his family will endure long after he's gone. His gentle guidance, his dry humor, and his unwavering faith make him more than just a character. He's the embodiment of Heartland itself, resilient, humble, and endlessly loving. Georgie's arc adds another layer of renewal. After time away, she returns with a clearer sense of who she is and what she wants. Her passion for showjumping reignites, but so does her understanding of family. She's grown not just as an athlete, but as a person who knows where she belongs. Her scenes with Amy are heartfelt, filled with shared understanding and sisterly affection. Georgie becomes another symbol of hope, proof that you can leave Heartland, chase your dreams, and still find your way back home. Even the smaller stories, Lisa's quiet strength beside Jack, Katie's journey of growing up under the watchful eyes of her family, and the newcomers who bring fresh energy to the ranch, all serve a purpose. They remind viewers that Heartland isn't about one person's pain or triumph. It's about how a family weathers life together. Every storyline, no matter how small, circles back to that central theme: That love is the thread that keeps everything from unraveling. By the end of season 20, you can feel the unity pulsing through every scene. Sunday dinners are filled with laughter again. Arguments still happen, but they're softened by understanding. The family doesn't avoid their scars. They embrace them, knowing that those marks are proof of survival. There's a sense of peace, not because everything is perfect, but because everyone has finally learned that perfection was never the goal. Connection was. The camera often captures the family gathered on the porch at sunset, the light painting them in gold. Jack rocking slowly in his chair, Lou sipping tea beside him, Tim cracking a joke that earns a half smile from Amy. It's not a grand ending, it's real life. And that's what makes Heartland timeless. It shows us that families aren't bound by blood alone, but by shared memories, by forgiveness, by showing up for each other again and again, no matter how many storms pass. Season 20 doesn't just give closure, it gives continuation. Each character carries their own lesson, but together they form the larger message that home isn't a place, it's a feeling. It's in the laughter, the forgiveness, the silent moments that remind you that no matter how far you drift, you can always find your way back to where your heart belongs.